power. God led him. Peter and Judas, they both served Christ. They both denied Christ. Peter seeks mercy. Judas seeks death. And God led him. In every page of Scripture, truth is revealed. And God allows us to make our own choices. I was talking with a fellow years ago when I was working at Texas Gulf, and we were talking about church and so forth and so on, and talking about our denomination, and he said, well, I think everybody ought to be free will. He didn't say Baptist, he said free will. He said everybody ought to have the free will to make their own choices. And everybody does have the free will to make their own choices. God allows us the opportunity to make our own choices. And according to the scripture we read to you today, that's the words of Christ, not the preacher's words, we either choose the narrow gate or a wide gate. Narrow road or wide road. The big crowd or the small crowd. We can choose to build on rock, we can choose to build on sand. We can serve God or we can serve riches. We can be numbered among the sheep or we can be numbered among the goats. Choice is ours. Which choice do we make? God gives eternal choices, and when He gives eternal choices, they have eternal consequences. That reminds me of Calvary. Jesus on the cross. Two thieves. Have you ever stopped and thought and asked yourself why there was two thieves, one on each side of the cross? Why weren't there 6? Why wasn't there 10? Or 5? Or any other number that you would choose? Why 2? Ever wonder why Jesus was in the center instead of Him being on the left or being on the right? Why was He in the center there? Could it be, I'm just giving you a possibility, could it be that the 2 crosses on the hill symbolize one of God's greatest gifts, the gift of choice? The 2 criminals have a lot in common, don't they? Have a lot in common. They were convicted by the same system. They were condemned to the same death. Surrounded by the same crowd. Equally close to Jesus. In fact, Scripture tells us that they even began with the same sarcasm and comments toward Christ. So along with Christ, we had 2 criminals nailed to the cross. One on the right, one on the left. People who are passing by shake their heads. They say terrible things. Since you're God, save yourself. Come down from the cross. Same way, the priests, the religious leaders, if you will, the teachers of the law, the Jewish elders, they all made fun of Christ. He saved other people. Why can't He save Himself? All condemnation. Let Him come down. And if He does that, then we'll believe in Him. If he trusts in God, let God rescue him. Kept on insulting. But one of the criminals on the cross, we know the story. One of them begins to shout at Jesus, "Aren't you the Christ, and save yourself?" But the other criminal stops him and says, "We deserve the punishment that we're getting. We deserve that. But we're being punished justly for the choices we made, if you will. So we're getting what we deserve. But this man has done nothing to deserve what he's getting." So then, and we know that he asked Christ to remember him that day when he came into the kingdom. And of course, Jesus told him that he would be with him that day in paradise. A lot has been said, many sermons have been preached about the prayer of this penitent thief. And rightly so. Abundantly so. So while we rejoice at the thief who changed, what about the one who didn't change? What about the one who kept on condemning Christ there? Why wasn't a personal invitation given to him? Wouldn't a word of compassion and persuasion even have been pretty timely in that particular situation? I mean, we have story after story. Doesn't the shepherd leave the 99 and pursue the lost one? Doesn't the housewife sweep the house to look for that one lost coin until it's found? Of course, we know the answer is yes. The shepherd does, the wife does. But then there's another story, the prodigal son. What does the father do in that situation? Nothing. He doesn't pursue the son around. The sheep was lost innocently, right? The coin was lost by, we might say, being irresponsible. But the prodigal son left intentionally. It was a choice he made. It was his choice to leave the father and not stay. The father gave him the choice. Jesus gave both criminals the choice as well. There are times in our lives when I think God will send the thunder to stir us, to shake us, to get our attentions. There are times when God will send a blessing to us to draw us to Him. But then there are times in our lives, and this is the times that we don't like, there are times when God sends nothing but silence. Nothing but silence. And the reason I believe that He does that, He honors us with the freedom to make our own choices. He gives us the opportunity to choose where we will spend eternity. There are so many areas of our lives that we don't have any choice about. None of us in here was able to choose our gender. You didn't choose your siblings. If we could, some of us would make different choices, right? You didn't choose your race. You didn't choose your place of birth. A lot of things we didn't have a choice or say-so in. And how many times have we said that life is not fair? We've all said it. Life is not fair. We get angry because life isn't fair. But I would submit to you this morning that any injustice that we feel like has come our way for not having a choice is offset by us having the opportunity to choose eternity, where we spend that eternity. So let's pose this question to you this morning. Would you prefer that God gave you the ability to choose everything in this life, and yet He choose where you spend eternity? And some of you are saying, well, He does that anyway. Hold on. Not so. In other words, if God says you get to choose the size of your nose, you get to choose the color of your hair, or whether you even have any hair or not. You get to choose everything about your life, but He chooses where you spend eternity. How many times have we looked in the mirror and say, man, I'd like to change that? Yeah. At some of our ages, it doesn't matter anymore, but when we were younger, we wanted to change a lot, right? You're just glad you got the parts of it that still work and move at this point in life. Is that what we prefer, that we get to choose a little